Hello and welcome to Flix and Chill with me, Luke. Today I have a very special guest on my show. John is here. So, John, why don't you take it away and please introduce yourself?
Hi, I am John. You want a little bio from me?
Yeah, yeah.
I am exactly 6 foot. I'm 39 years old, going to be 40 next year. Christ.
Nice.
Uh, I have lived in the town where I am right now my entire life. It's where I was born.
hmm
And My main interests, obviously outside of film and TV, is probably sport, actually. And Anyone that knows me that isn't familiar with my interest in films just knows that I follow football
hmm
and probably American football. Actually, is the other main sport that I would follow. That's quite unusual for someone from this country, but
hmm
that is the main thing that interests me. I work as a waiter at a nursing home, and in terms of my personality, I think some people say I'm a bit literal minded. Others have a nicer way of phrasing it. They say I'm very logical about
hmm
everything.
hmm
And people also say that I'm not exactly like a comedian or something, but they say I just sort of come out with sort of funny stuff. I've noticed that more recently. People around me, I'll sort of say something and people will just laugh. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That wasn't even a joke. It's like I just said something.
Yeah.
That's me, basically.
Okay. Okay. So many things to pick up on. So, you said you've lived in the town you live in right now for your entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we don't want to name the town, I'm guessing, but can you give us like, is it close to London? Is it close to like Liverpool? Because obviously you're from England. I think we can say
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind naming the town.
Okay, okay.
It's Harrogate is the name of the town.
Okay, I've heard of it. I've never been. But to be
No,
fair, I've only been to
it's
like,
kind of touristy, but it's not a very big like
yeah,
touristy place.
yeah.
It's like literally just in between York and Leeds, really. So
Okay, okay.
it kind of goes under the radar, I think, a little bit. I
hmm
have heard people refer to it as the Mayfair of the North. Actually,
Mayfair of
that
the
kind of gives you the
North.
idea of the kind. You know what Mayfair is? Like very
Yeah.
rich part of London.
hmm
Yeah, that gives you the idea of the kind of place it is. The
I
main
see.
tourist attractions actually in Harrogate is probably Betty's Tea Room, a very sort of posh looking tea room, and big claims to fame. I think they have, if you can call these claims to fame. It's where the first stage of the 2013 Tour de France finished. It was absolutely
Oh.
heaving that day, and luckily it was nice weather as well. It was absolutely glorious sunshine all day. Definitely sold the town quite well. It was also the host of the 1982 Eurovision Song Contest. I thought that was appropriate to bring up because we had
Oh,
it just this
nice.
week.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't remember that. It was a few years before I was born. The other big thing that kind of people take note of when they come here is there's a huge 200-acre patch of grass here, which is called the Stray, that you're just not allowed to build on.
Okay.
It's not like a park or anything. It's just like empty grass like everywhere. There's like main roads going through it, but yeah, can't build on anything. It's it's great if you just want to go out and relax or something. It's in the summer actually. It looks a bit like a green beach. Actually, you've got everybody like laying out in the sun, just
Mhm.
relaxing. So yeah,
And
weird
what
thing.
makes it so
Yeah.
special that nobody can build on it?
I don't really know why you're not allowed to build on it. I think it's like a law that goes back to like the Victorian days or something. It's just like was a protected area. I think they had a race course on there for a long time, as in horse racing, not cars.
Yeah.
Uh, but they don't really do anything on there now except like the occasional event
hmm
sort of thing. And actually, they had a law for a long time that you weren't allowed to corner off like any kind of area. So like if a fair was there, you could just walk straight in.
Yeah.
You obviously had to pay for each individual ride, but you didn't have to pay to get in or anything. So
hmm
that was kind of the nice thing about it. I think they've relaxed that law during COVID. That was like because he had to check everyone's temperature as he went into places. They like just got rid of that law and say, well, now you can corner it off. So like you have to pay to get into like fairs and festivals and everything. So it is
Yeah.
good for events and everything. But
hmm
I do sort of look at it sometimes, just how big an area that is with nothing on it. I'm thinking that they could put something there, like houses or something there.
hmm
But no,
So, what makes this town so special for you that you've never moved away or you never tried to, live someplace else?
well, I have been to several other towns in the country, and they
hmm
just never look as nice to me.
hmm
Like walking through town, like there are no main roads in the center of the town. I think is like the big appeal. You can just walk
Ah.
from shop to shop really, and not have to worry about crossing the road or anything, or like
hmm
cars just plowing straight through. Um, so that's the nice thing about it. And also, I look at the center of our town, and I think it just looks nice. There's so many town centers that just don't look nice to me.
hmm
Like garage doors everywhere or various like abandoned sort of buildings. or
Hmm.
something. There are quite a lot of empty shops actually. I've noticed recently, like everywhere's like that since COVID. But generally speaking, it does just sort of look like a much nicer sort of place to just walk around, and I don't look at it and think this is a shithole or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's fine. That's good. So,
yeah.
okay, you mentioned obviously you're in England, and I'm just trying to think. I had a question, but now it escaped me. Uh, so you mentioned you're a carer?
No, I'm a waiter at a nursing home. I work alongside the carers, basically.
Ah,
So
okay.
that's the good thing about it. I don't have to actually worry about any of the care duties of taking care of the residents in there. You just have to give them their food.
I see, I
Uh,
see.
yeah.
How did you, okay, so how did you, quote unquote, stumble on that job? Like, is that something you always wanted to do, like,
No,
coming
not
from
not
like uni?
not at all. Not at all. It is quite a nice job in some
Hmm.
ways because you finish like early.
Hmm.
Because obviously they're old people, they have to go to bed quite early, so they finish eating at quite an early stage of the day.
Hmm.
And I think the other thing about it that appealed to me was there's quite a nice little sort of community with care because obviously it's quite a sort of relaxed kind of nice sort of environment. So
Hmm.
um, that was the sort of nicer thing about it. And I think there's also something a little bit sort of satisfying about looking after sort of old people. I think
Yeah.
some old people anyway. Others are not quite so nice about it, but yeah, you get to know the old people and
Hmm.
you get attached to them. You develop a sort of friendship or relationship with them, and
Hmm.
it is kind of just sort of nice to be able to sort of talk to them occasionally and look
Hmm.
after them. But I have considered becoming a carer because it's slightly more money. It is
Yeah.
also longer hours though.
Hmm.
But then I think like every single time one of them's ringing their bell saying they need the loo, and I see what they have to do to do that, I'm like, yeah, I am actually glad I'm not a carer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you actually ended up doing this job? Like, because I'm guessing that's not, it wasn't your first job or just
No,
off uni or college or whatever.
I was a waiter in a cafe for a long
Okay.
time, and that was like quite hectic. People coming in and out all the time,
Hmm.
and I was sort of like thinking, is there a way to be like a waiter where you're not like constantly dependent on help from other people, and you know, you're kind of like not quite sure when you're going to be busy and when you're not going to be busy.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't quite know when customers are going to come in and when they're not going to come in.
Hmm.
So I kind of like the idea of like there was a fixed time for breakfast, lunch, and tea, and once we were done with those, we could just go home.
Hmm.
The cleaning down obviously was done the same as it was in the cafe, but it was at a much earlier point in the day. I think obviously
Yeah.
the cafe would close, but we like to stay open for as long as we could because obviously more customers. Whereas the nursing home, we could shut at the same time every day,
Hmm.
and well, the kitchen could shut. Obviously, the nursing home does not shut; it has to stay open. But
Yeah.
we were done like at a fixed time, and that was what appealed to me about that. It was like you knew exactly when you're done, and you can go home, and you can have an evening free, basically, which is not always the case with the cafes and the restaurants that I worked in.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Yeah.
No, I've done my fair share of like this kind of work whilst I was studying. So yeah, like you're 100% right. Like the hours are long, and some people are nice, and others are not so nice to the people who, wait on them or like, provide them with food or stuff like that. So, but that's like a universal story almost. Like anybody who's ever worked in like retail or hospitality
Yeah,
has those stories. Just like, oh yeah, you meet some loveliest people. And then you meet some not so not so lovely people,
yeah,
and you need to kind of take it on the chin sometimes.
yes, yes. Still, definitely the case at the nursing home. There are definitely some people that I care for, and I also have to work with that I'm not so keen on. But
Hmm.
generally speaking, they're all pretty good.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
And you mentioned you're into sports, so is there like so what would you be? Is football your favorite sport
yeah.
or like okay, so
I also play football. I should have mentioned that.
nice, nice. Do you like a five-a-side or just like
Five
an
aside,
actual?
sometimes six aside, depending on how many players we've got.
Hmm. Hmm.
I actually, this is the weird thing. I actually, when I was very young, I started out wanting to be a goalkeeper. I sort of felt like that was quite an empowering sort of position. You felt like everybody noticed you when you're in goal. 'Cause, I just noticed first of all that they wore a different kit, so I thought, oh, they're
Yeah.
the special one or something. And then I found that actually, when you play goal, it's a bit boring, really, because you're standing around not doing anything a lot of the time.
Hmm.
So I found that like the outfield equivalent of being a goalkeeper was a defender.
Hmm.
So that's what I decided to do, and that's what I did basically for most of my time playing five-a-side. In the last couple of years, I've moved back into goal actually because, like I said, I'm 39 now. Legs can't really take it so much. And actually, my club had a tournament just last week actually,
Hmm.
and I tried desperately to get the day off work because obviously we work over weekends at a nursing home, and nobody could do it for me. Unfortunately, we were very busy, and they actually came back to me like the very next time we trained and said we had no goalkeeper at all. We had to put like outfield players in that, and it was a real problem.
Mm.
So, obviously, that suggests to me that I'm actually doing a good job in net as well
Hmm.
as a defender.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's the main appeal actually for me why I'm into football is because I play it as well, and I'm actually I wouldn't say I'm like great at it. I couldn't have been a professional or even a semi-professional. I'm not that good, but
Hmm.
I play at a level where a general sort of person who sees me play will think that I'm good, and I think that's a talent that I have.
Okay. So who's your favorite team? Which one is your like, I'll die for this team.
I actually sort of have two. One
Okay.
is Harrogate Town,
Hmm.
whose ground is a 10-minute walk from where I'm sitting right now.
Okay.
Direction there. I'm not a season ticket holder because I work weekends, but I think if I didn't work weekends, I probably would be a season ticket holder. And the other
Hmm.
one is Leeds United. Uh,
Leeds, all right.
yeah. There was a bizarre experience actually last January when they actually played each other. I don't know if you remember that.
Nice. That must have been like, so splitting for you.
Yeah, yeah, it was a difficult one to know who to root for.
Because Leeds, wait, correct me if I'm wrong, Leeds are not, wait, are they playing Premier League?
They will be in the Premier League next season.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. So good times for you, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, we've done well, and Harrogate have stayed in League Two, which is where they are at the moment.
Okay, okay. That's,
Another quite satisfying experience. The previous season of Welcome to Wrexham,
uh,
not the one that's on now, the previous one, Harrogate Town were actually on that.
oh, really?
Quite
Nice.
fun to watch. Yeah, yeah.
I know of this show, but I've never watched it because
Uh,
I like football, but I'm not that much into football, so that's the
you don't
first.
really need to be into football to watch it,
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah.
It- yeah,
And the other thing is like there's so much more stuff to watch. It's like
yeah,
I think I'll get to it eventually because I like, both Ryan Reynolds and Rob, but
yeah,
it's just like so much stuff to watch. You would
yeah.
know because obviously you're also a cinephile, so yeah, so much.
There is a lot. Yes,
Yeah. So as far as your town goes, so wait, Harrogate?
Harrogate. Yes.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you, John, hey, I'm coming there for 1 week for a holiday, right? What would you recommend me? Oh, we need to go see this. Where would we go and eat? Like, what's that besides that field of like 200 acres nobody can build on? Is there anything unique about where you live?
Well, the obvious one most people would say will probably be Betty's Tea Room.
Hmm.
I typically don't go there. I go there if other people want to go there, but I typically wouldn't choose to go there for two reasons. First of all, most of the time, even during like the middle of a weekday, there is a massive queue going out the door.
Hmm.
So you're going to be waiting for about an hour, I would say, to get seated if it's busy.
Hmm.
And secondly, when you go in there, you look at the prices, and like even like a cup of coffee is like £8 or something. It's
Wow.
absolutely ridiculous the prices in there. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they'll argue, you get what you pay for,
Hmm.
which you definitely do. It is very nice in there, but yeah, it is way too expensive for me to want to go there.
Okay.
Where I would recommend, I'm trying to think what the name of it is now. It actually doesn't look that appealing from the outside, but it has really nice food. It's called Central Calf. I would say they do like breakfast, they do lunch,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I think they're open like fairly far into the evening. They're not like a restaurant or anything, but they are a fairly late open cafe, and they've just got a lot of choice. I think on their menu. I think
Okay.
what they have there is pretty nice.
Okay. Nothing wrong with a like, nice cafe. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
why not?
Doesn't look particularly appealing from the outside, I've got to say, but it is nice once you go in and they've got nice food.
Hmm. Hmm.
In terms of like tourist attractions, we have like one of the biggest cenotaphs I think I've ever seen. It's right outside Betty's, actually. Just it's a thing they put on all the postcards and everything. So obviously, no, it's like a big draw for people to go and see. Montpellier actually is the big like tourist area. That's another place people go. It's like a lot of like posh.
Hmm.
It looks kind of like very like retro. It's the obvious like the old Victorian streets, the way
Hmm.
it's built up. Um, the Turkish Baths, which is just down the road from Betty's. I think that's another place people go quite a lot. I've never been in myself.
Hmm.
Another place. People seem to like. When I was growing up, actually, a lot of people said that there was a really good nightclub there called Viper Rooms, which is actually shut now, so that's no good.
Oh
And
well.
I never went in myself because, first of all, the first time I tried to go in, they told me you had to be 25,
Hmm.
and I didn't look 25. I actually can't remember if I was 25 at that point, so maybe I wasn't. And then the second time I tried to go in, they told me it was something like £30 or something like absolutely ridiculous. Like, okay, okay, no, thank
Damn,
you.
damn, that's a high entrance fee.
It's like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. It's like, so yeah, never went in the end, but people say it's really good when you get in or something. So I
Hmm.
guess it's like the nightclub version of Betty's, I guess you could say. Like nice,
Okay.
but also they're expensive.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not like we do get tourists actually. It is kind of like a big touristy sort of place. I think that is like the main industry in
Hmm.
Harrow. But it doesn't strike me as having like many like touristy places really. It's just sort of like all made up to sort of look nice, I think, more than anything.
So would it be fair to say people go to your town just to kind of be transported almost in time? Like, hey, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
how
yeah. It's kind
England,
of a retro looking town,
yeah,
I would.
like used to look like in the 18th, 19th century.
Yeah,
Like but
it
with
looks
all the
very
modern, modern stuff.
it looks very Victorian. A lot of it. We have a modern shopping. Well, it's not new or anything, but it's modern. Certainly, it was built in the 90s. Called Victoria Gardens Shopping Centre, and
Mm.
you can tell by the way that they built it. They tried to make it look like it was like an old mansion that was there in like the Victorian days or the 19th century, anyway.
Hmm.
And it has
Hmm.
like a copper roof, but you can tell from the fact that it's not gone green yet that it has only been there for about 20 years.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. And see, for folks like myself and others who's never heard of this town, so how close or far is it to some like a quote unquote like major city like Liverpool or like London? So like we can like imagine it on a map.
It is about a 20-minute drive from Leeds, and it's
Okay.
about a 40-minute drive from York.
All right. Okay, that's not bad actually. That's
Yeah,
so it's that is quite that is north-ish, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, right, slap bang in the north.
Okay, so like you're fairly close to Scottish borders.
I think Scotland's probably like an hour and a
Mm-hmm.
half drive from where I am. I haven't driven to Scotland. I've driven up to Newcastle
Mm.
times, so I am aware of how far that is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No, because like I never actually driven to England, but I've been to this like wee town that's right kind of just before the border, like like once for a job.
Berwick
And
upon Tweed.
no, it was I cannot fucking remember now.
Oh,
It was like no, but it was like I remember like watching it like looking it up on a map because I knew it was like 3.5 hour drive for like down south for me.
yeah.
And I think about 10, 20 miles from like England and English border. So that was the closest I've ever been to whilst still being in Scotland
All
to
right.
be, because obviously I've been to London and now I'm gonna go soon with my girlfriend. We are planning like
Yeah.
a week trip to London finally. But yeah, like I've never actually been to any other place. Like I know people here, that's well, like one of the favorite pastimes is like, oh, I'm going to Manchester, I'm going to Liverpool, I'm going to London, I'm going to this and this place, like down south for like a week or so. But I've never been to either of those places. But yeah, finally going to London, even though prices will be, yeah, speaking about prices, London ain't cheap.
Well, the thing I like about London is it's easy to get around. It's expensive.
Yes,
It is dead easy to get around to like
yes.
basically anywhere. Whereas you go to like Manchester or Liverpool's actually not as bad to get around because they have like a good rail service. But getting around Manchester, oh my god, it's not. And actually, I mentioned Leeds United. If you want to go watch the football team and you don't want to drive, it's a 40-minute walk from the train station.
Wow.
It's nuts. There's like no good transport in Leeds at all.
Well, okay, I guess
Yeah.
that's a definition of a walkable city, I
Yeah.
guess. Fair. Okay, I think with that we can move to the this or that section of this podcast where I'll give you two choices and you'll tell me which one would you prefer and why. So, John, iOS or Android?
iOS.
Oh, why?
Because I have an iPhone and I have done the entire time smartphones have been a thing, basically.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, it would be very
Everybody
hard for
tells me
you.
that Androids are better at lots of things, but they're
Hmm.
all things that I don't really feel like I need in my life.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I don't want to upgrade a phone because I think something else is better. I want to upgrade my phone because I'm not satisfied with what I've got. And I am satisfied with what I got, so I'm going to
Hmm.
stick with it.
Hmm. Yeah, you're not into like a customization and like, you just want it to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Apple for you. Yeah. If you
yeah,
don't need too much customization, Apple is great. Yes.
yeah.
TV shows or movies?
Movies.
Okay.
'Cause I like to be done with the story like ASAP. I like the sort of self-contained sort of story. So Black Mirror actually is probably
Mm.
an okay TV show, but generally TV shows stuff is not resolved when it's finished. So
Hmm.
uh, I kind of feel like a little bit impatient. Like I tried watching Lost for a while, and I'm like, are you seriously going to try and make me watch this whole show just to find out what the fuck's going on here? It's like, no, no,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm not doing that.
And now I have an image of you watching a movie and like any movie, and you're like, oh, just be done with it. Like, I want to be done with it like right now. It's just like, this impatient person. It's just like,
A little bit, a little bit. I want to know what's going on.
so you are one of them. So you are one of them, like watching a movie. Wait, so okay, do you do this? Because my girlfriend does this. When we watch a movie and it's like something tense, she wants to know like ASAP what the fuck is gonna happen or what is happening if she doesn't understand it. Would you be one of those people who, as a movie is not in, hopefully not in a cinema, but like a comfort of your home, like on a couch, right? Would you be one of those people who actually Googles, hey, this movie, so you would read the
No, no,
synopsis?
no
Oh,
way,
okay, okay, okay,
no
okay.
way.
That's
Definitely
what
not.
she does, and like it
Oh my god.
infuriates me. It infuriates the fuck out of me. She knows about it, by the way. Like it's not like, I never told her. No, I'm an open person, so I'm like, I understand you, but no, I don't understand you.
It's funny. Just the other day, I was around at my sister's, and her niece is reading Harry Potter at the moment, and she's about
Mm.
halfway through Half Blood Prince, which is the second to last book. She started reading in January, and she's only 8. She's reading at an insanely fast rate.
Wow.
And I saw where she bookmarks like about halfway through the book, and I see her like flipping to the back, and I say to her, "What are you doing?"
Hmm.
And she says, "Well, I want to see what happens at the end." It's like, no, you can't do that. No, you have to finish the story properly.
Yeah, same. Like I could not do that. Like I never had the urge, even like when reading books like Harry Potter. I've never had the urge to like, oh yeah, I need to see the last page because that doesn't make sense. Like it wouldn't like what if something happens on the last page that like genuinely makes no sense unless you read the story. Because like it's insane. Anyway, tea or coffee?
Tea, definitely.
I was gonna
When
say
I'm out, I
English.
do like coffee, but I have to have like 3 sugars in there in order for it to be all right with me. It's like far too bitter for my taste.
So you are the proper like walking English stereotype, tea with milk as well, I presume.
With milk, yes.
So you are proper English, like proper
I suppose.
hardcore.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People tell me I actually do make a good cup of tea. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, my sister always looks forward to when I go round because her husband does not make good tea apparently.
See, I understand this, but for my like listeners, this is the actual thing people are proud of here. If you
Yeah,
can make a good cup of tea, that's a good skill to have. That's a like, actually appreciated skill because you're not the first person to say that about themselves, like, oh, I make a mean cup of tea. And
yeah.
it's such a UK thing. I don't think that's anywhere else in the world, but the UK is like, yeah, by the way, I make a mean cup of tea.
Not really a brag. It's something that I've heard other people tell me.
No, that's the thing. Like, you're not bragging. No, no, no. Like, you're not
Yeah,
bragging. Like, you're describing. But again, not just you. I've heard others, even in Scotland where I live,
yeah,
people have said, "Oh, I make a mean cup of tea," and I'm like, okay, it's a thing, I guess. People actually do. Like it's like a pride thing in a way, where it's like I am very proud that I can make a mean cup of tea. So why not?
Oh well, okay.
Money or free time?
Free time.
Ooh, that was very quick.
Yeah. Because like it doesn't actually matter how much money you have if you haven't got the time to spend it or use it or anything. If you're just working constantly, what good is that money for?
Hmm.
I would
Hmm.
say. I suppose maybe like a rainy day. And here's the thing: I don't have kids or anybody else that's like dependent on me. So I don't know. I suppose if I did have kids, maybe I would be thinking like the job was more important because obviously, you if you have
Need
kids,
need to provide. Yeah.
you need money for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
But for someone like me that doesn't have anybody else dependent on me,
Hmm.
free time definitely.
Okay. Is that on purpose? Like, you're not having kids?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Fair.
I love seeing my sister's kids. Every time I see them, but
Hmm.
I sort of think to myself at the end of the day, this is enough for me. I'm happy that I can just go home and be by myself now because it's a lot. Even just one afternoon with them.
Just between us, like I totally get it. I also still have no kids, even though I'm slightly younger. I'm gonna be 34, so there's only 5 years between us. So, I am slightly younger, but not that much younger, and no kids. And many of my friends do have kids, or like, kid or two or five or whatever. And I'm like, I don't hear the bell. Like, like when like my sister, exactly like I'm kind of like you. My sister already has two boys, right?
Yeah,
They are great. I love them. I
yeah,
love to be the fun uncle, right?
yeah,
Especially me living here, so like she lives in Czech Republic, so every time I visit, it's a big deal. But I've never looked at them and be like, oh, I wish I had that. No, I love them. They are fucking awesome. But as you say, they can be a bit too much. That's the first thing. And
yeah,
second thing, there's something about being the fun uncle. And the moment they start to misbehave, it's not my problem. That's somebody
yeah.
else's problem.
That's the thing. Just the other day, I think I was trying to explain a maths problem to her,
Hmm.
and it seemed obvious to me what she was missing, what she wasn't getting, and I just couldn't explain it. And she kept getting upset and like, oh god, what do I do? This is so difficult to explain without her getting upset.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. No, so yeah, same, same. Honesty or other people's feelings.
Oh, now that's a tricky one.
Hmm.
That's a circumstantial one. I think it depends what it is, really.
Okay.
I think generally, I would probably go people's feelings.
Really? Even though you're such a big logical person? It,
Yeah, yeah. I know
oh.
it doesn't make any sense, does it? I think like I wouldn't like say something that wasn't true, but
Hmm.
I just wouldn't say anything.
Hmm.
I think a lot of the time it's I think I just wouldn't have like I just wouldn't feel comfortable sort of saying it coming out of my mouth, even though I knew it was true.
Hmm.
I wouldn't feel right.
Like you
Like
don't want to hurt anybody on purpose.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
No,
not
I get you. No, I totally get you. Like
like
I've
even
learned.
even if they don't know that I've done it. I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
I think that's something I don't feel comfortable with.
No, yeah, I think there's a good point to be made here. It's like I've learned as a very honest person, if they don't ask for a feedback or if they don't ask for advice, don't give it. And you save yourself a lot of issues. Like, like basically because I'm a very honest to a fault. So if you ask me a straight question, I'll give you a straight answer. But I like, but if it's something I presume you don't want to hear, I double check before I give you the answer. I always like, are you sure you want to tell, hear my opinion?
Yeah,
Are you 100% sure?
yeah,
And, that always gives them the wee door to close it if they want to.
yeah.
But yeah. So, summer or winter?
Winter.
Oh,
One
interesting.
one clear reason why I prefer cold weather. Not snow. Can't stand snow. But
Okay.
just cold weather, I'm fine with.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's cold, you can put on as much as you want, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no issue.
Mm-hmm.
When it's hot, there is actually a limit to how much you can take off.
Yes, yes.
If you're in the comfort of your own home, I suppose you could if you really wanted to take off everything. But if you're out in public,
Mm-hmm.
you can't.
Yeah. Wait, but like how hot does your town get? Like, like up north where you live, I wouldn't think that, the summers would be that warm.
Oddly enough, last couple of weeks it's been like over 20 degrees around here. I'm not sure it is that today because it's raining a little bit today.
Mm-hmm.
But just yesterday, I think it was like 23.
I love how for you that's like a hot 23. To be fair, look, in England, yeah, or
But
in the
this time of
UK,
year, I mean,
yes, yeah.
this time of year that is quite warm.
Because yeah, like so I think 23, I don't even know what is in Fahrenheit, but I think that's about 60. I don't know. But basically it's not hot. It's not like boiling hot. It's like,
It's not like scorchingly hot, no,
no,
but
no, no,
it
no.
does. It is like t-shirt weather, definitely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But to me that's nice weather, but also I've lived in Scotland for almost 14 years now, but I come from a much warmer country where
Uh,
that's actually four seasons. So for me 23 is like spring, summer
all
is
right.
like 30, 40, sometimes even
Geez,
40
yeah.
degrees. Yep.
Yeah, it will probably get that warm in like July and August, I think, around here, definitely.
I'll say this, ever since I came here, last 7, 8 years, yeah, the summers have been getting warmer and warmer and warmer.
Yeah,
So it's like it's a mystery or global warming or it's a mystery. Like I don't know, either one, right? Like I wonder why these phenomenons keep happening. No, nobody knows. I wish we knew.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. It's such a mystery, isn't it?
I know,
I
yeah.
don't know if you watched The Apprentice, like the one with
No,
Alan Sugar.
not yet, not yet.
I thought it was quite appropriate that the guy that won this year was starting a business in air conditioners. That's very appropriate for the time.
That is very, yeah, that is very appropriate. So probably the most important question of all, ninjas or pirates?
Pirates, I think.
Oh, okay, why?
Um, I think exploring the sea is just sort of like a nicer kind of experience. I like the idea of just being able to go to different places and take down like anybody that you happen to find on the ocean.
Hmm.
And I think I just get the impression there's a bit of camaraderie between pirate crews. I think
Okay.
I kind of like that. There's a sort. Obviously, they're crooks, so they're not going to be that nice to one another. But I feel like there's some level of friendship with
Hmm.
pirates.
Hmm. Okay. I get it. I get it. And the last question, free will or destiny?
Free will.
All the way. All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know if I really believe in an idea of destiny, like there's something you're meant to do in life, because there's lots of people in life that don't really do anything. They just live their lives.
Maybe that's what they meant to do. Not to
Uh,
do anything.
well, if it's the thing you're meant to do, then why aren't you doing it?
No, no, no. I meant like, maybe for them, that's what we're meant to do. Nothing.
Oh, right, I see. Yes, their destiny is to do nothing. Okay, maybe. I hadn't thought about it like that.
No, but I'm also a free will. Yeah, like I hope there's a free will. Not there's some other force that makes me believe I have a free will.
Yes, that's the other idea: is free will an illusion? Because
Correct.
like, when you decide you want to do something, what is triggering that thought in your head that you're going to do
Hmm.
it? Is that you, or is that something else?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
do you actually have a choice then? Like, if you
yeah,
decide, can you actually stop yourself from doing it? You know, but what if that was also predestined?
yeah,
Like, yeah, philosophers have spent, their lifetimes on this question. So,
yeah.
and before we move to the Flix part of this podcast, do you have any hot takes or controversial opinions you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this already. I am a little bit of a gamer. I do
Okay.
play games from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Switch and I have a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually not been able to find much time to do gaming very much recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I did grow up like playing Nintendo mainly. Zelda is like the big thing that I was into.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on in life, I started getting into the more like realistic graphics sort of games that were on the PlayStation. And I sort of realized that I actually don't really like the super realistic graphics that they have in games like The Last of Us or Red Dead Redemption 2 or stuff.
Ah.
Because I'm like, you're going to all this effort to make it look real, like you're in a real world and the person looks like a real person. And then things happen in the game that don't make any sense in real life. Your character gets shot in the head and they just lose a
Mm-hmm.
bit of life on their life bar, or they're like dying, they're hobbling around, they're bleeding everywhere, and they get like a basic med kit, and suddenly they're fine or something. So
Yeah.
to me, it kind of takes me out of the experience to have like these super realistic graphics and
Mm-hmm.
not have realistic things happening in the game. It's like it seems like a
Mm-hmm.
mismatch. So, to me, a game like Zelda, where you're sort of playing in a cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
that fits the idea of a game a lot more. The way that enemies just sort of like disappear after you defeat them. That makes much more sense in a game that looks like Zelda. The sort of cartoonish anime sort of graphics that they have. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is my hot take. I don't like realistic graphics in games.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So wouldn't it be like the escapism part? Like in a sense where like when you say, oh, it doesn't make sense to you that you have realistic graphics, but then unrealistic things happen.
Yeah,
And I'm like, isn't that the escapism part of gaming? Like why, like, like Grand Theft Auto, right? And GTA. Obviously in real life, you cannot, or you shouldn't steal cars and like,
yeah,
murder people, but some people do. And, but in you playing it out that fantasy, it's just like, it's something to it that many people find intriguing, where it's like safe because they are not actually,
yeah,
stealing cars, hurting
yeah.
anybody.
That is the
Besides,
other appeal of games.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do things that you can't do in real life.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, But if it's realistic graphics, it just looks like the real world. If I want to see the real world, I can just go outside into the real world. So
But you cannot steal a
yeah,
car because like then police will actually come after you and you'll go
yeah.
to prison.
I suppose that's the other point. You want to be in like something that looks like the real world, but do things that
Hmm.
you couldn't do in the real world. I suppose that's the other sort of argument. But I don't know. I don't really feel like I need to be in something that looks like the real world in order to
Hmm.
do the things that you do in video games. I prefer to be in like a fantasy world
Okay.
and just
Yeah.
believe that I'm somewhere else in a different world. And I think that the less realistic graphics sort of help with that immersion, for me at least, anyway.
No, 100%. I can kind of see that. Yeah, like, I see that. So, okay, you mentioned the Zelda game. So, do you have a favorite video game of all time for you?
Link to the Past on the Super
Linked.
Nintendo.
Okay. How many times you've completed that game?
Oh goodness me! Played been playing that for about God, it's got to be about 30 years now. So the first time I beat it, it took me about 3 years. It felt like a really long game when I first played it.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like an era of my life was over when I finished that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite emotional actually. The ending. I don't know if you're familiar with how the game ends, but there's a lot of like saying goodbye to all the characters.
Ah.
And I think I didn't play it again for a long time until it was on like the virtual console on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
I think I beat it a couple of times on there. I think I beat it on the NES Mini,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to think. I've only beaten it on the Mini the once, and I think I also beat it on the Wii like 3 or 4 times. So yeah, probably about 5 or 6 times in total, I would
Nice.
say.
Nice. So, what makes it your favorite game? Like, if of all time, out of all the games, why this one specifically?
Well, partly it's like nostalgia. It was like the first game I actually like properly beat.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also it's like a good sort of like variety of gameplay. You've got like puzzles and you've got enemy
Mm-hmm.
fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's got an abundance of dungeons as well. It's like probably like at the time like by far the most dungeons that any Zelda. Well, there weren't many Zelda games when that one first came out, but
Mm-hmm.
the first game had like 8. I think the second one had 6, and this one's got about 15 dungeons. I think so.
Wow.
I loved like how many dungeons that game had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the bosses at the end like was a decent variety with that, and obviously the different items that you collected in each dungeon. So yeah, there was a lot of variety. You've got the dark world in it as well, which creates like a different sort of environment,
Mm-hmm.
and probably the best version of the Zelda theme tune. In that game, I think because like the original game just has like a little 8-bit version, which sounds fine for that
Mm-hmm.
platform, but it doesn't sound like instrumental. It doesn't sound like real music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas this one, it sounds like a proper orchestra, like acoustic version of the theme.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just has like a lot of variety and a lot of different things to do, and it has a very satisfying ending. And one of the hardest fights against Ganon, I think, that you have in the whole series actually it's like a genuinely tough, and one of the few Zelda games actually where the final boss is also the hardest boss as well.
Ah.
I would say.
Okay. See, I wish I could excuse me. I wish I could add anything meaningful, but I've only played one Zelda game in my entire life, which is the Breath of the Wild, and I've
Oh, good
only played it
choice.
for like
Good choice for the only one.
yeah. And see, that's what I keep hearing, but how unfortunately that was at a time of my life where I kind of shifted away from gaming because it, just like takes so much time, and I would rather spend that time on movies and TV shows.
I'm
So
having the same.
I made that conscious choice. So I've only played like 3, 4 hours, which is, decent amount for like if you don't understand how big that game is, but it's a big game. So like it can take you like what, like double amount, like 20 hours, 40 hours to beat it properly.
Ooh, it's a tough one. Yeah, like with the new one, Tears of the Kingdom, which is probably about as long. It might be longer actually.
Hmm.
Uh, I sort of had to play that for like a couple of hours, like every once or twice a week
Hmm.
when it came out. So it was difficult to keep track of how much game time I was actually putting into it.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I think it probably is like to like fully beat it. It probably is about 30 hours at least.
Yeah,
I would
because I
say.
know those games are enormous. Like, and there's so much things. And nowadays, like, as in any game, there are so many like side quests. You can collect this, you can collect that. You can, if you want to 100% the game, you have so many different things to. Oh, hey, collect the 100 of these things to spread throughout this like world. do these like quests, side quests for all these characters and all that stuff, right?
If you want 100% that game, I think you're closer to 100 hours, 120 or
Yeah,
so. It's
yeah,
it's crazy, because
yeah.
there's like even like really small things that would take forever.
Yeah,
I think
that's the
there's quite a
thing.
lot of stuff in that game that you're actually not supposed to 100%. That's how
Ah.
big a game is.
No, but yeah, so like I just wish I had anything meaningful to add because like I've only played one and it was only for a couple of hours. I
Yeah,
know of all the other ones, like I've heard of them, obviously, because they are massive, and I know how beloved most of them are. It's just like I have no history with them, so unfortunately I cannot really add anything onto it. But
yeah,
I do love your passion for that. I'll say like that, the enthusiasm for that game is coming through.
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think with that, unless do you have any other hot takes, or do you want to move on to the Flix part?
No, no, I just wrote the one down.
All right, all good. So with that, we can move to the Flix part of this podcast where we finally
Yeah,
talk some movies, and where I'll ask you, John, what is the last new movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything 2020s.
probably Anora was the last one,
Hmm.
5 out of 5. Uh,
Okay.
so yeah, Academy made a good choice for Best Picture, I think, this time around. I mean,
Hmm.
but they made good choices for nominations, with the obvious exception of Emilia Perez. I think they were all like decent films that they
Yeah.
nominated.
Yeah.
And yeah, the main thing with Anora, I think, was just like from the point. I assume you've seen it, so I'm
Yes.
not spoiling
Yes.
anything. Yeah. So from the point that those bodyguards are trying to get into his house,
Hmm.
it's like just pure immersion from that point on for the whole movie. For me, it's like up until that point, I was thinking, okay, this is kind of interesting, like setting up like the situation they've got here, but I'm not quite sure where they're going with this. And I actually remember the first time watching, thinking to myself, oh, I'll just pause this in a second, just to go to the loo. And it was
Hmm.
at that point that the bodyguards were coming into the house. I'm thinking, oh, I'll just see what this is, what's going on here. And then for the next like 50 minutes or so, I'm like, oh my god, what is going to happen next? It's like
Yeah.
pure anxiety watching that whole sequence, and it's so well shot. It's the dialogue, it sounds so realistic the way they're overlapping their lines. It feels real. Like I feel like I was in there, like watching this
Hmm.
happen. It was like just pure anxiety. It felt like
And
it was.
she's
This was
screaming all the
something,
time. Like she's
just
just like,
like
biting, screaming, kicking, everything.
yeah. You weren't quite sure who was in the right here, who what was going to happen. Like, was someone going to get a comeuppance? Was somebody going to get called out? Like,
Hmm.
to be honest, I really thought things were going to work out for her, and I didn't think that she was in the wrong about what she was trying to set up for in her life there at all.
Hmm. Hmm.
But by the end, you sort of realize, oh no, she's had completely the wrong idea the whole time. She shouldn't have been trying to like cling on to this as like this was her life now, and she needed to go back to the life that she had. It's kind of like an interesting sort of turn on like the rags to riches sort of situation of like actually the rag situation she had at the start was actually a lot better than what she was
Hmm.
the life she was trying to get there. So it really
Yeah.
did surprise me, but I understood it by the
Hmm.
end. Like, yeah, she's back to where she was, and she's not happy,
Hmm.
but she's better than the situation she was in. And I was quite happy. It was quite a sort of triumphant moment on the plane as they're
Hmm.
heading there to like have the divorce finalized. She stands up and says, "I am glad to be divorcing you." It's like, yes, thank you. She gets it at last. Yeah,
Yeah, no, Anora is
yeah,
great. It's an awesome movie. I love that piece of trivia, like on IMDb, where somebody asked Sean Baker why he named the movie Anora, and he said like, I named it because like you as an audience going in, you will not know what that means, and by the end, you will never forget that name. And I'm like, that's so well put because like yeah, like I didn't know that was her name. And then, oh, Anora, but my name is Annie, right? But,
yeah,
everybody calls me Anora. You will then remember because, like, Mikey Madison, her performance is brilliant. So she
yeah.
makes it so memorable. Like, she makes it like, oh, yeah, Mikey Madison, she's Anora. Yep.
Yeah, I think she's going to go on and do great things because she hadn't done a whole lot before that. I don't think.
No, this was only her, like, 10th credit. Like, this
Wow.
was, like, yeah, and she's already an Oscar winner. She's done some things, but no, she's very much an up and comer. So, yeah, it's fun. And again, I was rooting for Demi a bit at the Oscars, but I'm not, I wasn't mad that she won, like Mikey
Yeah,
won. It is what it is.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a good choice. So, what is the last quote unquote teen movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything between 2003 and 2019.
I've gone with 1917. So it's
Mm.
almost literally like a teen movie. It's got
Yes.
1917. So yeah, again, in the immersion, I just felt watching this film again, like thinking what is going to happen next. Like in Aura, like I talked about the big sequence of like just the one shot. This
Mhm.
is literally one shot, the entire movie.
Yeah.
And just the sort of like the idea of it being all in real time, I think it really draws you into the situation. It makes it feel real to you. And I could tell actually, like a lot of times when they had cuts. A friend of mine actually, that I went to see it for the second time I went to see it in the cinema. He kept leaning over to me and say, "I think that was a cut."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, stop it! You're
I
ruining
think
the
there's
immersion."
like six. Wait, what is it? I think there's like 6 or like 13 cuts.
Oh
Like
yeah,
something
there's
very
a lot of cuts.
low. It's like very low amount of time, but like they are very well masked. I'll say that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I did hear this criticism from a few people. Oh, why couldn't they have just done it as an actual real one shot?
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, first of all, you need the most elaborate set imaginable.
Yep.
Secondly, that means filming it all on one day, so the lead actors would be exhausted.
Hmm.
And it also means you would have to have Andrew Scott, Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Firth, and I'm trying to remember, there was a couple of other like big actors. They would all have to be available on the
Hmm.
same day. It's
Yep.
like just be on screen for like a few minutes. I was
And
like,
again,
it's
for a
not going to
war
happen.
movie, that's like almost impossible. There are movies that have been made in one shot, like proper, like a boiling point, right? Like that's a great English movie that was actually one shot.
Yeah,
But for a war movie with tons of like action and like big set pieces, it is not possible. I don't think. Like, or it is possible, but I think the result would not be great.
no, no, it would not work at all. Richard Madden was the other one I couldn't think of.
Oh.
And that's the other thing I wanted to mention.
Mhm.
The bit with Richard Madden at the very end. Obviously, it's a little bit of a cliche, I think, particularly in war films, of just like telling the person that this person they care about has died. But I
Mhm.
actually do really like the way they do it there because he hasn't seen his brother for a good few months or
Mhm.
a few weeks at least.
Mhm.
And then he sort of this thought enters his head, oh, he's here, is he? And it's just the little moment of like, oh, he's
Mhm.
not here.
Yeah.
And he's realizing why he's not here.
Mhm.
It's just like the expression on his face of like the sudden like bit of happiness that enters his head. Oh, he's here, and then it all falls out. You just see it in his face.
Mhm.
Oh, it's sort of a cliche, like the realizing that they've died. But I do like the way that they did it there. Just the sudden like dropping in his expression. I thought that was really effective.
Yeah. Like so I
Yeah,
only have seen it once,
yeah,
but I do have it on a 4K on my shelf because I collect
yeah,
physical media. And you made me want to rewatch it because
yeah,
I've only watched it once when it came out, so it's been a
yeah,
minute. It has been a
yeah.
minute. So like I definitely am due for a rewatch, but I remember loving it. Like it's a great choice. And the camera work, that like that's another thing. Was that Deakins? I something tells me it was Roger Deakins.
I'm gonna check now.
Because I know it was Sam, it was Sam. What's his name? James Bond movies, American Beauty, Sam.
Oh God, I can never remember their names of directors. Sam
I
Meekins, yeah, yeah.
yeah, Sam Mendes, by the way, yeah, the director.
Sorry,
Yeah. No, like so, like the Deacons, like that was when he finally, I think there was a year before he finally won an Oscar. After everything he's done. And I think he also won for this one, and like deservedly so. Like
yeah,
such a well shot movie. The scene with the church and the fire. I still remember that shot when there's like a
yeah. Great
fire
light.
and just
Yeah.
wow. No, that's a great pick. So, what is some old, like, not old, sorry, adult quote unquote movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So, 2002 to 1975.
I'm not actually sure how you describe this as an adult movie. The Breakfast Club. It's from the time period that you
Yeah,
specified.
yeah, no, yeah. No, those
Uh,
are just the category descriptions, so like don't pay too much attention to those. But yeah, Breakfast Club would
yeah.
perfectly fit in there. Yeah.
So yeah, I just this is like completely relatable to me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like everything they talk about in this, and I also feel like it's a sort of film that pretty much anybody over the age of about 15 could relate to. I think anybody watching this would relate to at least one of those characters. I
Hmm.
think personally I'd be Brian
Hmm.
myself. I think I would relate to him the most. But yeah, there's so many things that they talk about in that film that is just so true to what
Hmm.
life at that point in your life is like. like the social groups that you basically are required to stick into. You
Hmm.
can't just go ahead and like be friends with other people. It just doesn't work like that. And I think also like I think Alison is another one that I would relate to. I think
Hmm.
I did like to keep to myself a little bit at school. I wasn't like a weirdo like she was, or I certainly don't think I was.
Hmm.
But certainly the wanting to keep to myself part of that was is definitely relatable to me.
Yeah.
But also like the way that they gradually become friends over the course of the afternoon or the morning rather.
Hmm.
Uh, that's also I think very sort of true of like what teenagers are like at that point. They sort of feel like they don't want to be friends with people that are not part of their group. But if you just put them together and they've got
Hmm.
nobody else to talk to, they will become friends. I think just naturally. I think that's what kids of that age are like. I think that's kind of what generally people are like as well. That they want to gravitate towards anybody else that is there if there's nobody else to talk to. I think,
Hmm.
and I think it's also just a really interesting kind of story of like just the way that they rebel together against this teenager, against this teacher rather,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and in order to like get out of school in the way that they do, and don't you forget about me. It's just a great song as well. I think that's another thing I
It
love.
is. It is. And there is a reason why this movie is often quoted. Like, one of the like fundamental movies of the 80s. And probably the pinnacle of John Hughes' like career, even though he's
Yeah,
written like movies like Home Alone. Like, and produced
yeah.
movies like Home Alone.
This is the definitive John Hughes movie for me, not Home Alone.
Yeah, like to be fair, yeah, I see why. I see why. Like, many times like Home Alone, I always forget he actually written it and produced it as well. But no, yeah, like Breakfast Club screams John Hughes, and he was again, many people, excuse me, would relate to this movie even if we've never been to that situation. I remember watching it for the first time, and many American movies don't play as well for me. Like especially like oh, this is a big American classic, and it's like not really for me. Okay, but I see why. But this one, just there is something that translates like borders. You don't have to be American teenager in the 80s to get it. You can be a teenager from Czech Republic and still get it in 2010 or whenever I watched it. Like it was, yeah, that's a great choice. But yeah, what is the last quote unquote old movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything 1974 and older.
There weren't many to choose from here. Movies that I really like, absolutely love, but I've gone with The Sound of Music.
Of
Not
course.
not really into musicals in general, but this is definitely one that I love. I love all the songs
Hmm.
in this, and the problem I actually have with a lot of musicals is there just isn't much of a story surrounding them. But this one does actually have a great story, and all the songs I feel like relate to what is happening at that point in the story.
Hmm.
And even though it is insanely long, I sort of feel like the songs progress the story in like a really effective sort of way.
Hmm.
And there's actually it's a little bit like the Breakfast Club in that you've got another group of kids and you feel like you could relate to at least one or two of them in some kind of way. And I also think there's just like a lot of great performances here. Christopher Plummer, even though apparently he says he doesn't like the film, he's really good in it.
Hmm.
For a film he doesn't like, he's actually really good in it.
Hmm.
And of course, Julie Andrews, like her definitive like role. I think
So not Mary
was
Poppins for you.
that's it. That's an interesting one. Well, I think we'll get
Uh,
back to that with something else you're going to ask me.
oh, okay.
So yeah, yeah. Maria is the definitive Julie Andrews performance. I think was it Robert Wise was asked once, why do you think the Sound of Music works? And I think he just said one word, Julie.
Mm,
Like that's why it works. But yeah, I think I love most of the songs in this. I think there's maybe one or two that I don't find particularly memorable, but
hmm.
yeah, when I think of like a set of songs in a musical that I just gravitate towards, it's The Sound of Music. I love the majority of the songs in this. I can quote pretty much all of them.
Hmm.
I think I don't rewatch musicals very much, which is odd. You think you want to listen to the songs again, but The Sound of Music is definitely one that I do rewatch like a decent number of times.
Hmm.
Um, it's interesting. Like I watch it now, and I sort of try to dissect certain things. Like I noticed when she's singing about her favorite things. The oldest girl, Liesel, has gone to the bathroom or shower
Hmm.
to clean herself up after she's been outside. And the reason why the rest of the kids come in is because they're afraid of the thunder
Hmm.
uh, that's been going off. And I'm thinking to myself, why did they do it like that? Why do they have Liesel like already in there or something? I'm thinking like later on, I was like, oh, it's because she's 16 years old. She's not going to be afraid of the thunder, is she? She's not going to come in there because she's afraid of So I was like, that's actually quite a clever attention to detail. That like
Hmm.
giving her another reason to just already be in there. I like that sort of like bit of like thinking about the finer details of things. And another sort of more negative thing that I think about something sometimes when I rewatch it is when Julie's coming down the aisle. There's a reprieve of "How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria,"
Hmm.
which is a song that's a little bit critical of her. It's saying sort of bad things about it. Like, why would you sing that as she's coming down the aisle on her wedding day? And she's never heard it before. She wasn't present the first time they sang it. So that's one bit that does bug me, but it bugs me in a way that kind of makes me sort of love the film at the same time.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. The Sound of Music to me was the one I've avoided for many a year because I knew it was supposed to be great, but I like, the runtime. I'm like, oh Jesus. It's because it is
Yeah.
almost 3 hours. It is like, it's
That's
not a
the way
short
with
movie.
musicals, I'm afraid.
Yep, especially from the 60s. But when I finally watched it, and I was genuinely so pleasantly surprised. I was like, "This is a great movie," and the runtime didn't really bother me that much. Like I think could it be a bit shorter? Sure, but it wasn't didn't bother me that much. And yeah, Julie Andrews
Yeah.
just she can do no wrong. Like especially in this movie, and they are fighting Nazis, so it's always good to remember we should be fighting Nazis. You know.
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
leave it there. I'll leave it there. What would you say is your favorite movie decade?
Probably the 90s, just because of
Mm,
nostalgia for it. It was when I grew up. Um, I I'm kind of waiting for the 90s version of Stranger Things. That can't be too far away.
oh, there won't be. No, 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 it won't be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to do some kind of thing that the 90s nostalgia is the big selling point with it. But yeah, I actually kind of like just the look of the 90s, all the vibrant colors and everything.
Hmm.
Uh, the sort of things that people had in the 90s. They're all like small things, like Tamagotchis, yo-yos, Game
Yeah.
Boys,
Yeah.
like those sort of playing cards people had, Pokemon cards, I think is the big thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and I kind of like the fact that it was sort of like the era when things were getting a little bit smaller. You no longer had like the boom box on your shoulder like, to listen to music. You could have like a Walkman you could carry around.
Yes.
And it was this sort of era when technology was just about getting there in the sort of like the smartphone era was going to take over eventually. And you were kind of seeing like the early parts of that, like the Walkman,
Hmm. Hmm.
Game Boy was like the early part of that. You can kind of just see it. It's also like the era that the internet was kind of born.
Hmm.
So you kind of, I think I heard like a YouTuber that was born around the same time I was. He said once that I grew up with the internet. I have like this unique take on like what the internet kind of is. I saw
Hmm.
it like, in its infancy when it was just text on a screen and everything. So it's kind of like interesting in that sense that you can sort of see the seeds of what the modern world is with like computer technology, like just about starting out,
Hmm.
with the noise for dial up, like is the classic like 90s sound and everything.
Yep. Yep.
And um, yeah, I think it is mainly nostalgia for
Hmm.
me, remembering these things like when I was growing up, uh, I wasn't exactly a teenager in the 90s. I think I was 13 when the 90s ended. So I was like a smaller kid. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't be like a Stranger Things type child in that era, but I definitely remember it all sort of pretty vibrantly. And I'm not sure if I can think of any like definitive 90s movies that I really like, absolutely love. I think when people think of 90s movies, that Clueless, I think, is one that keeps coming up, which is a good film, but it's not one that I love or anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, definitely the fashions of the 90s there's kind of like, it's kind of like the 80s tidied up a little bit. It's not quite so vibrant colors in terms of what people wear, but it's more kind of like excessive, like over the top
Hmm.
clothing that is certainly not something I would have worn in the 90s. I don't think I was probably a bit young to be into fashion anyway.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's mainly the nostalgia, I think, for me.
Okay. And again, well, there were so many great movies from the 90s. It's insane. It is genuinely insane how stacked and and even if you go like year by year, there's like 3 years, there's like 94, 97, and 99. If just those 3 years alone, if you look at what like highest grossing movies, highest rated movies from those years, it's fucking insane. Like some of the like modern classics and masterpieces were from that, from those years. And then you have all the rest of like the 90s to go along with it. No, 90s is a great choice, especially for movies.
Yeah. Jurassic
So
Park, I suppose, is the big '90s movie.
Jurassic Park, like Terminator 2, like
And see,
Titanic.
I know that's '90s, but that feels '80s to me. That movie.
Well,
I love
yeah,
it, but it
yeah.
feels more '80s to me.
Hmm.
Something about it.
Is it because Arnie? Arnie is such a
Maybe a little.
like
Yeah.
such an 80s staple where it's like, yeah, no, I get it. So do you, okay, I feel like I know where this is going, but do you have any hot movie takes?
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier.
Hmm.
I think Emily Blunt is a better Mary Poppins.
Oh, damn. That is definitely a hot movie. So, okay, let's hear it.
She just has a better singing voice, I think. I think she comes across more like she cares about the kids a
Mm,
lot more. I think in that movie, she always came across as a little bit too strict, Julie Andrews.
hmm hmm
And there were like moments where the kids seemed like genuinely sort of upset, and I think Julie Andrews just wasn't giving them like enough of like a warm sort of
hmm
feel to make them feel better. I think I got that much more from Emily Blunt. I think, and how do I put this? I feel like she just cares about everything that she's doing
hmm
a lot more. She feels much more like a heroine than just somebody that is trying to take care of the situation
hmm
in the way that needs to be done. Um, the difficult thing is I haven't read the books, so I'm not quite sure how strict a character Mary Poppins is in the books.
hmm
But I always like envisioned in my head that Mary Poppins was like a caring sort of nanny, much more than like she was sort of trying to be strict and trying to pretend that these
hmm
silly little games that they were playing didn't really happen or anything. There's some Julie Andrews probably does sell that part of it a lot more. Like, oh, this is nonsense. We didn't go through a chalk painting or anything. She definitely sells that a little bit more than Emily Blunt does. But
hmm
I always felt like, she takes them on all these like massive adventures. I always thought the way that in which she does that for them and the way that she cares about them in Mary Poppins Returns, it felt much more real to me. It felt like she was really trying to like
hmm
give them a good time and care about them and everything.
hmm
Uh, and Julie Andrews plays it like a little bit more strict, I think, is what it boils down to, I think.
hmm No, I see where you're coming from, right? So like I definitely see where you're coming from. I will say I thought about it and I'm thinking, isn't it not even the performance? It's more like, hey, this is how they would raise the kids in the 60s or like 50s.
Yeah,
Whereas now we tend to be more like quote unquote forgiving. So like like it's almost like two different sets of like parenting, like or styles of parenting. Like you have your Julie Andrews would now be a grandmother, really. Like she's at that age. So like your grandparents, would parent your parents differently than your parents would parent you, right?
yeah,
Because the society's changed, so it's not, so I feel like it's a more of a reflection of, hey, in the 60s, yeah, this would be, oh yeah, we need to be more mindful of the kids. We need to be more stricter, like, so they don't grow wild and stuff like that. And now it's more like, free for all. It's like, oh yeah, just like, let's keep,
definitely. Yeah, they definitely feel like there's more freedom in the second film.
mhm,
Definitely.
mhm. But I will say to your point, Emily Blunt in that sequel, in the Poppins Returns, I thought she did a great job. I thought she was worthy successor of Julie Andrews. I don't know if I have a favorite per se, because I also didn't grow up on watching Mary Poppins. I've
Uh,
only seen the Mary Poppins, well, twice now. I rewatched it before I watched the new one. But I've only seen it for the first time when I was 25, 26, something like that.
okay.
So like yeah, I don't have that emotional connection with that,
Uh, no childhood nostalgia.
Correct, correct.
Yeah,
So like, for me, that was that, talk about movies that are a bit too long. Both, not just the original, but both, and like even the sequel are on a longer side, and I don't think they either of them justify it. Like, they are not bad movies, but I don't think they need to be that long.
yeah. I didn't realize growing up just how long Mary Poppins is actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we had it on VHS in our house when I was growing up, so I'd seen it a few times. I think just
I've
having it on in the afternoon, I think, while you were doing other things as kids, you don't notice how long it is.
Yeah, no, I think you're the second or third person who actually says that. Like, oh, I used to watch it, when I was a kid all the time. I never realized how long it was now when I rewatched it as an adult. Like, you
Yeah,
genuinely are like a second or third person who mentioned that to me. I was like, yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Because when you're a kid, you're just so in a movie, right? When you're a kid, you
yeah,
just want to
yeah,
be
definitely.
in that world, dancing with them penguins, and like, and all that, like, having these adventures. But when you're adult, it's like, no, I get it. But do we need to spend 20 minutes here? I don't think we do. But no, like to your point, so Julie Andrews, and it's fascinating. I don't know if I have a favorite, but Emily Blunt definitely was as great of a successor to that role as nobody else. Like I cannot really imagine the only other person, current person right now, I could imagine in that role would be maybe Anne Hathaway. I could
Oh,
kind of imagine that, but again,
she's American though.
yes, she is. I know.
I've
She
never heard her do it
definitely.
in an English accent. Not saying she can't, but
I think she did a movie called One Day. I haven't seen that, but from what I've heard of people criticizing her English accent, it wasn't great.
right. Maybe not.
But again, hey, woman needs to try. Like a girl needs to try. Like and maybe she's learned since then. It's 2000. It was 2011 the movie, so I'm pretty sure she's grown. Like now she would be better.
I think
But
the other thing for me, I think,
mhm.
is Emily Blunt could play like a potato, and I would still love it.
No,
I love her as an actress.
same. Emily Blunt is just yeah, no, Emily Blunt is so awesome. Like
Yeah.
one of my favorites, 100%. Okay, so I think that's a good one. So I think now with that, we can or unless do you have any other hot movie takes?
Oh no, no, just the one.
All right, just the one. Nice and simple. Okay, with that, I think we can move to the underrated part of the podcast, where I ask you, John, who do you think is the most underrated actor we have right now?
I'm going to go with Will Poulter.
Ah, nice.
I mean, he's been in a decent number of movies, decent number of like big movies, but he's not yet been in like a defining role. Like maybe Adam Warlock a little bit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
although he's covered in orange gold paint that whole time, so you don't really
Yes.
recognize him as Will Poulter. But yeah, there's no like role where I think anybody's really said, "Oh, Will Poulter was so good."
Mm-hmm.
You just sort of see him in occasional like movies here and there. Like probably when the general public see his face now, they'll just be like, "Oh, he's the guy from the You Guys Are Getting Paid" meme. But I was introduced to him like as a child in the film The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I had read the book growing up, and I knew that the role he plays in that Eustace is a really difficult role to sort of get across because he comes across as like such a spoiled brat at the start of the story,
Mm-hmm.
and then he grows into a much nicer character as time goes on. And there's also kind of like this like over the top, like sort of eccentric, like making a huge fuss about everything that he has to like pull off. And I think for a child actor to do all that, that's going to be very difficult. And he just pulls it off perfectly. The film as a whole is not that good, I don't think, as an
Mm-hmm.
adaptation. But he is so good as Eustace, which is a difficult character to pull off, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
since then, he's just sort of shown up in like kind of like side roles in like somewhat big movies. The Maze Runner films, Death of a Unicorn that he was in recently, and Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy. And whatever that film was where he says, "You guys are getting paid." I don't think I've seen
We're the
that.
Millers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I just think he's always come across as like really good in like everything I've seen him in. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like he deserves like a big role at some point. Yeah,
No, like with Will Poulter, he's like the penultimate, like a child actor who's been acting, as you say, he's been acting since he was like 8. Like he's like had a career. It's kind of like Nicholas Holt. You know, you can see him ever since you were like, you are growing up with the guy, right? And
yeah,
now with him, the you mentioned Death of a Unicorn. He stole that movie. Like
yeah.
every time he speaks, it was so fucking funny, and it was because he understood the assignment so well. I'm like, with the guard, with his role in Guardians, and with this one, I genuinely think it's just a matter of like a year or two before he lands something proper big, and then people will like, oh, that's Will Poulter now. He's no longer the oh, you guys getting paid meme. He's an
Yeah,
actual great actor, and
yeah,
we will take notice. I genuinely can see that happen because like he seems to be picking interesting projects, and obviously he's grown up. That helps. Not being a
yeah,
child anymore. That also helps. So no, I that's a good choice.
yeah.
So, who do you think is the most underrated actress we have right now?
This is difficult. I'm not sure if people would say that she's underrated, but I've gone with Amanda Seyfried. Um,
Ah, nice.
just because, again, a bit like Will Poulter, I don't feel like she's found like a massive role anywhere. Like
Hmm.
I feel like she has a bit of a stigma attached to her because some people see her as like, oh, she was the stupid character in Mean Girls.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
think that she is stupid in reality, of course, but that was just a character.
Hmm.
And also, Mamma Mia is obviously her big defining role at the moment, which people either love or hate.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and she's just a sort of all right singer in that. She's not as bad as some of the singing in that, but she's just sort of okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've also heard some people say that she isn't good looking enough to be in a lot of roles, which seems kind of unkind. But
I was like,
yeah,
what? Have they
yeah.
seen her?
I have heard some people say that. It's like, well, what's the matter with you?
Some people are
Um,
fucking crazy.
yeah.
Just,
So yeah, she's shown up in a lot of like
mhm.
roles. A lot of them like she's obviously got off the back of Mamma Mia, similar kind of roles. Letters to Juliet is the obvious one to
Mhm.
me. Her character in that is literally called Sophie.
Yeah.
So she's had plenty of like decent starring roles off the back of Mamma Mia, but nothing like to really like be like a big blockbuster like big role that
Mhm.
like really showcases how good an actress she is. Because I think she showed in like her very first role in Mean Girls just her sort of range in like how much she pulls off. Like you really believe how stupid that character is
Yeah. Yeah.
every time she talks.
Mhm.
I actually think the actress in the remake that they had recently, she does it even better. I'm going to have to look up who that is.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
I think with Amanda, you're spot on. I think she is underrated, but I think because many people haven't seen. Have you seen the TV or limited show called The Dropout?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it yet.
So
But
she plays the what was her name, like Elizabeth, the CEO who basically uh lied to everybody, including Wall Street, and pulled money from like many people on this like miraculous machine that could diagnose you, but like the machine was totally not working at all and never was close to working. And she played her so fucking well. And yeah, so that would be for me. If you think, no, not you, but like if people think, oh, Amanda Seyfried, she's just a pretty, or according to some people, not so pretty girl
yeah,
who
I can't
cannot.
believe that.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest. Like this is fucking crazy. Oh, she's just a pretty girl who cannot act. No, watch Dropout, and then compare her to the interviews that woman, the Elizabeth so and so, the CEO, actually gave, and how she changes her voice to
Okay.
sound more like man, and she like almost sounds like robotic, and she like nails her, and she's now I think halfway through to EGOT because she won an Emmy, and
Oh, okay.
think she actually won a Tony for something as well. Like I remember like thinking, damn, she kind of and she was already nominated for an Oscar for Monk, which I liked more than many others. So
Yeah,
kill
like a
me.
lot of her roles, she doesn't have a huge amount to do in that film.
But that's the thing. But
She's
she was
good
a
in it. She's not
supporting.
on there for a
She
long
was a
time.
supporting actor, so like she was in that category. So like, but I think that's still like she was supposed to do in our movie what a great supporting character should do. They should support the lead. And the movie is not about her, it's about Mank, right? But she, every time she's on a scene, and especially going up against somebody as powerful as Gary Oldman in that movie, like she held her own against Gary Oldman. I'm like, respect,
Yeah,
Amanda, respect. And I know, so to your point, I hope she will get some like other role where many more people will finally see, hey, she's not just a dumb blonde from Mean Girls that was 20 years ago now. Like she's actually a great actress.
yeah. I remember I checked out the movie Gone recently.
Hmm.
I was thinking, because she plays the main character in this. She's like just her on screen for a long time. Oh, this is the chance to like showcase her acting, and she's really good in it.
Hmm.
But it's a
Hmm.
terrible film. It's like there's one point where she's talking about missing pajamas or something, and she shouts at like one of the detectives or something. Her pajamas have blue stripes. Like God, it's such a ridiculous line. It's like, but she's selling it. It's like, oh god, she's doing her best with what she's got to work with. This is terrible.
Yeah, yeah. I have not seen the
Uh,
movie Gone, but I've seen a clip of it because she was promoting on a talk show, and she was even like kind of aware of like, yes, it's a very intense movie as you can see, and like I'm like, oh girl, like she's very self-aware, very quirky, kind of like before Aubrey Plaza and people like that make quirkiness like a thing. Like she was kind of quirky if you look at her like older interviews. She is like, out there when it comes to like, oh, I like to like, she actually like likes to do like taxidermy for a hobby. And I'm like, what? And yeah, no, she loves the taxidermy, and she has like there were like pictures from her house like, oh, I have a taxidermy squirrel, this, her name is so and so. And I'm like, damn girl, you're kind of scary, but I like it. Like I was like, she's kind of a unique person. I don't think anybody besides like maybe one or two roles were able to tap into that uniqueness yet. So I think she's one of those perfectly spotted as underrated. I don't think we've seen her peak yet as an
yeah,
actor,
no, I
and
agree.
it'll be so awesome for us to see it once it actually happens, because I believe it will eventually. So who would you shout out as the most underrated director we have right now?
Again, it's difficult to say whether or not this is underrated, but I'm going to
Oh.
go with Edgar Wright.
Mm,
Just simply because I think when a lot of people think of him, they just think of the Cornetto trilogy, but he's
yes.
actually done a good few other really
Hmm.
good films. Last Night in Soho and Baby Driver being the other two
Hmm.
ones I would think of as like the really great films, and also the TV series Spaced, where he got his start, is also
Yes.
really good. I just love like the unique sort of style he has to everything, the way he tells the story,
Hmm.
the quick cuts, the way that he portrays like information, like really sort of subtly. I think Baby Driver for a long time, I actually wasn't even all that interested in what was going on with the story. It was just like the visual way they were presenting it was like really compelling. I thought
Hmm. Hmm.
just the way even like sort of like basics information came across as like this is like really just visually so compelling.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just think like he's got like this unique sort of style to everything that he does in terms of like the dialogue and the comedy and everything. It's kind of reminds me of Josh Whedon actually, the way that he writes dialogue.
Hmm.
But I think maybe when a lot of people think of him, they just think he's just the guy that directed the Cornetto trilogy, and that was it. If it's not got Simon Pegg or Nick Frost in it, it's probably not
Yeah.
right or something.
Yeah.
Or I have heard this actually. People say, "Oh, the Cornetto trilogy only worked because of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost or something." Like Edgar Wright had nothing to do with that. But what? There was so
That,
many good things about that film that had nothing to do with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. So
who
what
are
are
these
you talking
people?
about?
Who are these people you're hanging out with? So, like
I
it's
think I go onto like the wrong kind of corners of the internet and just read things and just think that everybody thinks that. It's like so ridiculous some of the things people say.
that's such a, yeah, I was gonna say that's another like such a crazy, I would what? No. But
Yeah,
no, to your point about Edgar Wright, obviously I love him. Like, like he's my dude. And he is the only one who could make me care about a Running Man remake. Like when I heard like, oh, they are remaking Running Man with Arnie like from back in like 80s. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, do we really need it? And then when I heard Edgar Wright is directing it with Glenn Powell, and I'm like, all right, I
yeah,
am
yeah,
fucking intrigued now. Like I'm not saying it's gonna be the best movie ever, but I'll be there. Like, I will be there. Like if it was anybody else, I don't think I would be there. But if it's him, I'll give it a shot because, like, to me, well, if you let him cook, if you let him be, to his own devices,
yeah,
usually the movies are fucking awesome. And I'll say it again. I wish we would have gotten his Ant-Man in the MCU, the movie he's been working on for like 8 years before they boot him out.
yeah. It's a shame.
Like
Oh, we've got another
genuinely.
series of Spaced as well. I think he
Oh
went
yeah.
off to Hollywood.
No, it's a shame, and we've never gotten that. And you can still see bits of, hey, this sequence looks like Edgar Wright, seems like Edgar
Yeah,
Wright.
the bit with the Thomas the Tank Engine
Yeah,
trainer that has to be him.
yeah. Like many people, that's what they've seen that they point at, or the like the dialogue where they like, you see the flashbacks. It's like, and there's one person narrating it, but the other people are speaking, like, so it looks like,
Yeah,
all
definitely him.
speak in one word. Like again, that seems like something he would have done, and we can only guess how much it was him or not. And if I'm not mistaken, to this day, he refuses to talk about that experience because it was so painful for him. And I cannot blame him. I remember seeing even back as 2006-7 report that he's been working on Ant-Man movie, even as early as before even Marvel was Marvel, right? Or
It,
MCU was MCU.
it's
So,
it's kind of the double-edged sword with like making a cinematic universe because I have to think I'm forgetting the main guy, Kevin Feige, is it? Yeah. I have to think he had a certain vision of what he wanted to do with the MCU at that particular point, and I
yeah.
have to think that Edgar Wright's vision for Ant-Man just didn't fit within like the jigsaw that he was building. So
But
it
that
just
was the official
it just couldn't
reasoning we've
happen.
gotten. Yeah, that was the official kind of reasoning, like, oh, the director's vision and our vision just wouldn't match, so that's why he was let go, right? That was the official, yes.
I think that's fair enough. I mean, it's a shame, but
hmm
I don't blame anyone for having for making that decision.
I genuinely think, look, I've thought about this, and I genuinely think had they known, they already because they already had James Gunn, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, were just about to come out, right? And I think they were too nervous about having two quirky fucking guys, kind of like having two massive movies a year apart. So they trusted James Gunn enough, where like we cannot have another quirky one. That's not our brand, and they fired him just before the Guardians of the Galaxy made gangbusters and everybody was praising it. I think had they waited after the Guardians, they would have let him cook. I genuinely think had they known what they had with Guardians and how many people to this day, for many, it's like top three Marvel movie for them, right? And
Yeah,
I genuinely think had they known at the time, oh, we can do quirky and people will show up if that's original story and people will actually care about these characters and nobody's ever heard of before. Yeah, let's let Edgar Wright do whatever he wants to do. And I genuinely think if they waited a couple of months, but after Guardians did the Bankbusters money they did, he wouldn't have gotten fired.
yeah, it's a tricky one. The good thing about the Guardians film is for a long time it just wasn't part of the MCU story at all. It was its own sort of separate thing. Whereas
hmm
I think with Ant Man, he immediately shows up in Civil War, doesn't he? So
Yeah, that was like a year later.
possibly
Yeah,
Kevin Feige had like this plan for like Ant Man to immediately get involved in the MCU, whereas the Guardians were off doing their own thing for a bit. So
yeah, I
they had a
guess.
bit more leverage there, maybe.
Again, I would love, like, that would be one of my dream interview, like, to sit down with him, with Edgar Wright. And if he would be willing, I would genuinely want to hear his side of the entire
Yeah.
thing. Like, because that would be such a, I think, amazing thing to hear, but also I can understand how painful it would be for him. So I understand why. It's like David Fincher. To this day, David Fincher will not talk about Alien 3. In his mind, he disowned that movie. He did not make it a movie because that's not his movie. So to this day, David Fincher will straight up refuse to
Mm-hmm.
talk to anybody about Alien 3.
It doesn't feel like a David Fincher film, that definitely.
I like it more than others, even though I'm not saying it's a great movie, but I do like it more than others. I can see flashes of Fincher here and there, but no, like, but I have watched only the director's cut, which is kind of weird way to say because I don't think he had anything to do with that, like David Fincher. I
Yeah,
think they just assembled a cut from his notes after he was gone. I
yeah.
don't know, but like, that movie is messy. Anyway, I know the next one is difficult, but do you have a movie or two you would want to shout out as underrated?
Sky High. I've gone with it.
Oh, okay.
Um, I just think this is a really neat idea, and I'm surprised it didn't get a sequel. Really, basically it's high school but with superheroes. It's
Mhm.
kind of like Heroes, but they're all like high school students, and they're all like comic book like characters or something.
Mhm.
The actual story, I think, is where maybe people were turned off a little bit because it's kind of like a generic like high school story of just like the bullies and the bad guy and the feud with the parents, everything. It hits like all the kind of like typical sort of high school story beats, but
Mhm.
it's with like superheroes. And I actually feel like that was an interesting like different kind of take on like the high school story. And there's lots of different types of powers that are showcased here. There's the idea that just simply having powers, if everybody else has them, means you're actually not that special if your powers aren't very good or they're not very interesting.
Mhm.
Um, and there's kind of like twists on top of twists here. Like there's a really kind of interesting sort of like double twist with the villain.
Hmm.
And I also sort of like that the main character in this turns away from the character that ends up being the villain before he finds out who they actually are. So there's a good little bit of like strength of character growth. He's not just like turning against them because it turns out they were bad. He's realizing before he knows who they are that they aren't a good person and they're not doing the right thing. I think that's a good sort of strength to it. And there's also kind of an interesting sort of twist to the love story that they have here
Hmm.
with who he actually ends up with. And there's an interesting kind of relationship with the parents that he has here. You got Kurt Russell as the dad, is like one of the biggest like superhero. So like his dad's like kind of like a celebrity almost. Like he's considered like a big name in the superhero world.
Hmm.
But he's like kind of like the guy who has to follow in his footsteps. He's got shoes to fill. The main character, I forget the main character's name actually.
Hmm.
And he's not fulfilling it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's actually like if you dissect it properly, like the story is actually pretty original, pretty
Hmm.
interesting. It's not just like the gimmick of it being superhero high school sort of stuff. So I feel like this has the potential for like a reboot or a remake or something. Like particularly with this being a Disney film and Disney owning Marvel now, you could do this like with the actual Avengers characters.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I suggested this on an article I wrote on SifPop a while back. A lot of people were saying this was a really good idea. Like you have like the Avengers Academy, and every morning when school starts, the teacher just says to them, "Avengers," and then the class says, "Assemble." So yeah,
Nice.
just like a really neat idea. Like they had the
Hmm.
potential for a whole franchise, and in the end, we just got this one movie. It was
Hmm.
disappointing, but on its own, it's still a really good film, and it will be on Disney Plus, so people should
Okay.
check it out.
I have not seen that at all.
Yeah.
And I think I heard of it. But I cannot even imagine like a poster or anything. So it sounds intriguing. So
Yeah.
it's a world where everybody has powers.
Everybody is a superhero, yeah, and
Oh, superhero.
yeah,
Because that reminds me, there was a movie from like 2009, 10, back when like heroes were like popular, like the TV show Heroes. There was a movie called Push, and there was the
yeah.
same premise where there's like, oh, everybody has a superpower, but many are bad. Like many people because of that are bad. At least, again, I've never actually seen it because apparently it's bad.
Oh,
So that kind of reminded me of that movie, and I'm like, I wonder if there's like a connection. But now, if Sky High so it's actually about like high school.
it's actual high school, yeah.
Okay,
It's in
so
the
it's not.
sky, hence the
Mm,
name, I guess.
mm.
There's actually a bit towards the end of the film where the school's falling.
Oh, so it's very literal. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
actually
literally
in
in
a
the sky.
sky. All right. I'll check it out. Look, I want to see everything that's been made. So like I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out. And do you have a TV show you would like to shout out as underrated?
I mean, there aren't really many TV shows out there that I like absolutely love, other
Hmm.
than the ones that everybody seems to like.
Hmm.
But I have sort of pinpointed one that I think I probably love more than most people do.
Hmm.
Cobra Kai.
Oh, nice.
Just simply because like this is like I'm such a massive fanboy of this. I love this more than any other TV show I've seen in
Hmm.
recent years.
Hmm.
Whereas I think generally, I think people just think of this as an all right kind of show, and I think it deserves like even higher praise than that. Like the balance of comedy and drama I think they get here is like absolutely spot on.
Hmm.
And I think it's also like a great example of how to like bring back a franchise from like years later, bring back all the same actors to reprise their roles like years later.
Hmm.
And I think it's also a great example of how you do fan service, like just like respecting the source material, but also sort of making fun of it at the same time. And they've also done it in such a way that you actually don't need to have seen the Karate Kid movies in order to
Hmm.
understand this show. You can they show the appropriate clips at the times when it sort of becomes relevant.
Hmm.
Uh, there's like lots of stuff in here for people that haven't seen the Karate Kid films, but there's also a lot of stuff in here for people that have seen them and are big fans of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they follow up from it. It's like just simply the Karate Kid. The first season is sort of like the Karate Kid, like as a TV show, just
Hmm.
done again. Like this time you've got the students from the first movie as the senseis, and you've got a new generation of kids as the students. And
Hmm.
then from there, they actually like expand on the story and take it in a very sort of different direction. And there's a lot of more kind of like higher stakes and much more kind of interesting kind of teen drama here. Obviously, they've got like a mix of comedy and
Hmm.
teen drama in
Hmm.
here. And I think it's also like paved the way for some of the kid actors that they have in here to like have like big careers, like just talked about like underrated actors and actresses. One particular actress from this, Peyton List, I think that's another underrated actress that I think I would love to see in more stuff
Okay.
going forward.
Mm-hmm. See, okay, so like I'm obviously aware of the TV show. I've seen all the Karate Kid movies. I have not watched the Cobra Kai yet, but I'm aware of it. But funny enough, I on my show, as we are recording, the episode hasn't dropped yet. But when this episode comes out, it's going to be a long time out there. I've actually had the chance to interview Matt Borlenghi, who is playing Kyle, aka like pawn shop guy from on Cobra Kai in like 6 episodes, and he was a good guy. He was a good interview. So like I'm like I do need to watch Cobra Kai, but again, there's just so much stuff to
Yeah,
watch. There's just so
it is.
much.
There is quite a lot of it as well. I think it's like 6 seasons as well.
Yes, yes, and I know it's now finished, and this
Yes,
is why like when I talked to my our buddy Shane from Swift Pop, Shane Konto. We did a episode about this upcoming summer release, right? Like what's releasing, whether we're excited, and the Karate Kid Legends is coming out soon. Well, again, by the time this episode comes out, it's gonna be long, long gone. It's gonna it would have
less
come
than a
out.
week as
Yes,
we're recording.
yes, less of a week as we're recording, but this episode I think will drop like close to September.
Ah, right,
So
okay.
it's long, long, long. It's been out for a long, long time now. But
Oh,
I said to Shane the same thing when we talked about this movie, The Karate Kid Legends. I said I'm not as excited, not because I don't like the franchise. I kind of enjoy the franchise. I have a feeling because it's Legends and everybody's coming back, there is gonna be some tie-ins to Cobra Kai. And if I were to watch the movie, I wouldn't enjoy it as much. So I feel like I need to watch Cobra Kai first to watch Legends. You
I
know what I
don't
mean?
think it will be, to be honest.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know.
I the From what I've seen in the trailer, there's only
Mm-hmm.
one character that's in Cobra Kai that's in this movie,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's obviously Daniel.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But no, like I hear you're not the only one who is singing praises of Cobra Kai, especially like I know many people love the first like 2, 3 seasons. So I will definitely get to it, but just not enough time. There's just so much stuff to watch, not enough time to do it. You know that. Like, we have the same issue, I would imagine.
See, the interesting thing is, a lot of people would probably say, "Oh, just watch the first season and see what you think of it." But actually, I would say you need to keep watching after the first season because the first
Hmm.
season is just the Karate Kid again,
Hmm. Hmm.
and then it just takes things in a much bigger kind of direction, much more interesting kind of thing. This show didn't really draw me in until the second season when I sort of realized, oh, they're doing some much deeper stuff now.
No,
Uh,
to
this,
me, like I would never stop. Like that's the other thing why I'm so picky with what especially like TV show wise, what I'm watching. If I start something, I really would like to finish it, unless it's
uh,
total bad. Like I only not finished the show once, and I finished all the shows like I'm watching. So like I know if I start Cobra Kai, I would like to finish it. It's not like I wouldn't be one of those like, oh, I stopped halfway through season 2 because like I got bored. No, no, no. Like to me, TV show is a different beast. Like there might be building to something, and if I stop now, I would never know what they were building to. But again, like I know that I'm quite unique in that. So like I know many people, oh yeah, I'm bored with this show, so I stopped.
uh,
Yeah. So like when you were talking about Lost, have you ever finished Lost?
I watched the first season
Okay.
and I sort of like cottoned on to the fact that the way that first season ended is
Hmm.
just a way to get me to keep watching.
Yes, yes.
So I'm like, I'm not doing that because I was already getting kind of bored even before the end of the first season.
Fair. I would say Lost is worth it. Like Lost is one of those shows to me. It's like like I grew up with that show. And yes, there are definitely like slogs, especially season 3. There's definitely like this is one of those shows where if it was redone now with like Netflix, Disney Plus, where they didn't have to have 24 episodes every season, it would definitely help. And
Yeah,
that's when many people, when they're screaming, "Oh, we need more longer shows now." No, no, we don't. You don't remember how many filler episodes shows used to have because they had to have 24 episodes. And Lost is a perfect example of we need to stretch this story. We need to stretch season 3. Something major happened, but we need to stretch it out. And that had a writer strike. 2008.
Oh yeah, yeah, true.
And the season 4 was much shorter because of that, 16 episodes. Actually, one of the few shows where I feel like the writer strike kind of helped them out because season 4 for me was great. And then even season 5 and 6 were slightly shorter. So I'm like, I genuinely think this is one of those shows where the writer strike actually kind of helped the show rather than kill it. But again, I know many people don't like how it ended. I enjoyed it, so hey, I know I'm on an island, but I'll
Uh,
island, yeah.
oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm well aware of how it ended and how everybody thinks they were dead the whole time.
They were not. I don't think they
They
were.
were not all dead the whole time. In fact,
I don't think they. Again, it's a very open ending, kinda. Like you can interpret it in a way, like you can interpret that ending a few different ways, and many people choose to interpret it. Oh, were they all dead in the entire time? Well, that's fucking rip off. I don't think they were. But also, it's I've only seen it properly once, like all the way through, and I haven't rewatched it since. But I kind of would like to, like because again, there's a, such
it's
a.
on. I think it's on Disney Plus in this
Yes, it
country.
is. Yes, it is. In the UK, we have it on Disney Plus, correct? But again, it's such a time commitment. And again, when I haven't watched so many great TV shows, like I still haven't watched The Bear. I still haven't, I know. I'm getting there. I am getting there. It's just like, so much to watch.
Yeah,
Joan, you know that. Like, hey,
yeah,
so many movies, so many TV shows. It's like,
yeah. This particular time of year, there does seem to be a lot to watch.
correct.
Having to
And
get through.
just like that's why I no longer even make watch lists because like it's pointless.
Yeah.
Like it's so many. Anyway, so thank you. This has been a blast. You've been kind and patient enough with me and answered all my questions. Before we say goodbye, do you have a question or two for me?
Yeah, I thought of a few I could ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever walked out of a movie in the theater?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
I'm a
Not really much else you
completionist.
can say, is there?
I'm a completionist. Look, like you need to understand, I'm a completionist. No matter how bad a movie is, even at home, I would never stop it. I would never stop it and like be like, no, I'm never finishing. No, no, no. I want to finish it just so I know if I'm hating it for the correct reason. If I'm
Okay.
not enjoying my experience.
Right. I think there was only I've also not walked out of a movie,
Hmm.
but there was one occasion I thought about walking out of it. I think it was Transformers 2.
Eh.
Just of how fucking long it is. I mean, it's an incredibly boring film, but it was also very long. So I'm
Hmm. Hmm.
thinking maybe I could just. But I went to see it opening weekend, and the screen was packed, and I think I was in the middle of a row,
Hmm.
thinking I'm going to have to ask a lot of people to move out of the way.
So you
Frankly,
just politely sat there and like, you know what, I'm not.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in the long term, lesson was learned, and I did not go see any of the others in the theatre.
Smart man.
Do you have any celebrity crushes?
Oh, we can spend another like 2 hours here. Like, how much time you have?
Yeah.
Right now, I guess the basic ones, like like hey, Sydney Sweeney looks nice. Adria Arjona looks nice. Like oh, wait, no. Now see, but I cannot like think of anybody. But like no, there's just like I cannot. Yeah, like probably like again, I'm basic. Sydney Sweeney would be probably top of the list because like she is like she is nice to look at. She is like quite a like, you could say she's an attractive young lady. Mikey Madison, like she is.
Yep, definitely.
You know what well, we can stop here actually for a second. You know what made me not hate on her because she won an Oscar even instead of Demi Moore? I watched quite a few interviews with her, and she's the polar opposite of Anora. Like
Oh, okay.
if you see interviews with her, she's like actually like very soft spoken, like very like down, like like a quiet person. Like, or at least she seems to be. And then Nora is like, "Oh, in your face, motherfucker!" Like what are you gonna do? And I'm like, "Holy shit!" And she seems like the like genuine nice person. I never met her. I would like to. Obviously, that could all be a facade. Like, you don't trust anybody in Hollywood, duh.
Yeah,
But from the interviews, she just seems like reserved, very quiet. And I'm like, holy shit, I understand the Oscar. Like, I just totally.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Says
another
something
one, by the way.
about.
Margaret Qualley. Like, from The Substance. And, like, the
Oh,
uh,
okay.
Substance. She was in Kinds of Kindness. She was in Drive Away Dolls. There is something about her that's, like, I found intriguing. And and she's a great actress on top of that. So hey, what's not to
Yeah,
love?
yeah, she was good in The Substance.
Hmm. What about you? Who'd be your celebrity crushes?
The one I keep coming back to is Scarlett Johansson.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, yeah, ScarJo has been my girl for like the last 20 years. But like, see, to me, like she's like a like she has Colin. Like they seem to be happy. I don't want to like but no, like ScarJo
Oh
looks.
yeah, yeah, it's just a little fantasy thing.
I know, like,
I would
but
say so.
ScarJo is yeah. And talk about somebody who's also seems to be kind of down to earth. All
Yeah,
interviews
yeah,
of
she
it.
does. Yeah,
Like she doesn't talk like people in Hollywood. Like she often tells you what she actually thinks, and then she gets in trouble for it sometimes. Like yeah, but like that's what I found endearing. Like she doesn't give you the political answer where she gives you nothing. It's like like it's very like politics. Politicians talk like that. I'll tell you 10 sentences, but I haven't actually told you anything. And with her, like if you ask her a question, you actually get a response and something.
yeah, she's got a lot to say.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one particular clip I quite like of her from I think Jimmy Kimmel, I think it was,
Hmm.
where they just found this clip of her being interviewed on like a red carpet, something,
Hmm.
and I think somebody must have gone like behind a board behind her because it looks like from
I've
the
seen
footage,
her.
like
Yeah.
she just disappears when she walks past her, and
Yes.
she's being shown this clip, and she just goes, "That's my mum. I haven't seen her for a few years." That's
I've been
such a
looking.
great little funny line to say.
Yeah. She's like,
Like
I've
sort of
been
like,
looking for her since.
yeah.
I was like, that's so fucking funny. It's just like
That's such
she's
a great thing to say. Because what do you say to something like that?
yeah. No, but she like Scarlett Johansson. Look, I've been crushing on her ever since Lost in Translation. So like, what can I say? Like, yeah, good
Yeah,
choice.
yeah. Everybody hates Iron Man too, but I don't know. Scott Johansson, all that leather. That's something worth seeing.
Hey, yeah, like man, like I'm only a man. Like, there's only so much I can do. If you show me Scarlett Johansson, like like there's only so much I can do.
The other one I've been crushing over recently is. Have you seen the new Gladiators they have over here?
Gladiators?
TV
No,
series,
no,
game
no.
shows. Okay, well, there's one particular gladiator called Saber. I've been looking at
Saber.
pictures of. Yeah,
Okay.
look her up on Google Image or something when you got a bit of time.
Okay. 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 Will do. Will do. Any other
Uh,
question for me?
yeah, one more.
Oh, tell me.
Uh, do you shower in the morning or before bed?
Morning. I'm the
Or
morning person, like because yeah, I feel like basically if I don't shower in the morning, I feel dirty. So and I d-
same, same.
and my job is not like labor intensive, so it's not like I come home like sweaty. Like if I go to a gym, well, I try to go to a gym, but obviously if I go to a gym, I will shower after a gym, right?
Yeah,
But I don't work. I work in the office. I'm an IT person, so it's not like I'm just like my work is like labor intensive where I would come home and would be dripping sweat. No, so I just shower like every day, but like in the morning. I don't. I rarely shower before going to bed. Like if I shower before the bed, that would be again. I would either go to the gym or I would just come back from like some sort of trip where it's like, oh yeah, I actually am dirty, so let me take a quick shower.
yeah. I have a weird sort of routine where I would normally shower in the morning,
Hmm.
but I actually shower in on days when I'm football training. I shower in the evening, just when I come back from football training.
Yes.
And the weird sort of habit I've developed with this is that I get into my pajamas after I've showered, and we finish training at like about 8 o'clock. So I'll
Hmm.
be in my pajamas like 8:30 in the evening. I'm like, what am I doing here? It's not bedtime.
Yeah, like the brain, like like brain creates this like a shortcut where it's like, oh yeah, we do this, therefore we do this, and it's like, oh wait, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
yeah,
yeah, I would normally be showering in the morning for the exact same reason. I just feel dirty when I get out of bed. I
yeah,
have to freshen up.
yeah. No, 100%. Any other question for me?
That is it. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Well, again, this has been a blast. Thank you so much, John. If people who will listen to this have enjoyed you, where's the best place for them to follow you?
I am on Instagram. The username is John Tillyard 86. That's the numbers 86.
Hmm.
I am on Threads with the same username and Blue Sky with that
Hmm.
username as well.
And Letterboxd.
Uh, and Letterbox. Actually, I don't think that's my username on Letterbox. I think it's Buck86 on there.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And I also write for Sith Pop. At the time I'm recording this, it's obviously this will be out. These reviews will be out by then.
Hmm.
My next reviews are going to be Karate Kid Legends and 28 Years Later.
Nice, especially 28 years later. I cannot wait to see that.
They actually filmed part of that about a 10-minute drive from where I am right now. A place called Fountains Abbey.
Okay. Well, I will be looking forward to seeing you in that movie then, like someplace in the
No,
background, like,
it wasn't when I was.
hey, hey, it's me.
Yeah.
That's what I would try to do. Like, if there's a movie shooting someplace here, well, there was famously Tetris, the Taron Egerton movie, shot where I live,
Yep.
and so I was thinking like, should I just try to like go to the set and see if I can spot anything? Nah, but I didn't. Just didn't have the time to do it.
Oh,
But yeah, no. No, well, okay, so those links will be down in the description so people can just click on them and follow you. For me, as always, in movies lost on Letterboxd, this podcast every other Friday, or lostinmovies.co.uk, which is my blog. And that's it. So this podcast is part of SPDM Crew Media, and special thanks goes to HiFlyer Creative for designing my logo. To see what else they have happening, visit hiflyercreative.com. And until next time, bye bye.